and we were saying there are these two worlds of the five rhythms and of NLP, but many people don't know that they actually both have a common mentor. I think, in some ways, I think everything in personal growth these days came from the same person in a way. I mean, this common mentor that really spurred a lot of many developments. And that person is from this country. His name is Gregory Bateson. How many of you have heard of Gregory Bateson? Bateson came from the UK, was an anthropologist. He for some time was married to Margaret Mead, who was also a famous anthropologist. But Bateson really was much more than an anthropologist and was one of the founders of cybernetics and so-called systems theory and the whole systemic approach. And his work and his ideas spawned the whole notions of systemic therapy, of family therapy, etc. And he was the person, in fact, that put Bandler and Grinder in touch with Milton Erickson when they began to develop these ideas of NLP. For in the last years of his life, Bateson was living at Esalen, which is a beautiful place off the coast of California. And that was where he encountered Gabrielle Roth.
So Esalen is a personal growth center, which is the hotbed, really, of the whole human potential transpersonal movement. Gabrielle, that was part of where Gabrielle did a lot of her early work and experimenting. And Gregory Bateson met Gabrielle when he was toward the end of his life, and he danced with her until he could no longer dance. And Robert and Gabrielle Roth met not long ago in New York and had a beautiful conversation about their love for Gregory Bateson, in which Gabrielle told us that Gregory told her that she was obsessed with the pattern that connects. And that's what Gregory's thing was all about. What is this pattern that connects?
This deep, Bateson's whole life was devoted to finding the deep structure, we would say, the underlying pattern. That's the notion of systems theory, is that there are every system shares fundamental patterns. And as Gregory used to say, he said, everything is a metaphor for everything else. Right? A car is a metaphor for a person is a metaphor for a tree is a metaphor for a society is a metaphor for a dance is a metaphor for life is a metaphor for a garden. Yeah. So everything is a metaphor for everything else, meaning there is common deep structures of life.
And NLP, the process of NLP, come from the knowing of these deep structures, the working with these deep structures, as does the five rhythms. The five rhythms are born out of Gabrielle's experience with how these deep structures show up in our bodies, in our emotional life, and in our life, our relational life, and our life in the world. So both NLP and the five rhythms are process-oriented approaches above all else.